I'm Kevin Casey. I'm a professional mixed martial arts fighter. And right now what I'm about to do is issue a warning out to all other competitors.
I don't want overs. I just expect them to happen.
Fatty's gonna fatty is real.
He is terrible!
We gotta know how many wieners are going down these dudes' throats.
I'm gonna go quick because I don't give a fuck about anything that's gonna happen on Saturday.
Hello, boys! It's February. It looks like it's gonna be a short winter, which is a good thing, because I'm getting the hell tired of the cold. Welcome to this week's MMA Analysis podcast. We got the Four Horsemen, or something like that this week. I'll start with Ashley Judd's biggest fan. I heard he was down in Lexington. I heard he saw a victory. Is that true? Wes Colvin? Did you see a victory in person? In your first trip to Rupp in I don't know how long?
Yeah, it's been a while. Good time. 21-point faves though. We didn't look.
I sure as hell hope they won.
Yeah, I was. Our boy Matty, was like, they're gonna escort my ass out of there if we let. I never went to another Kentucky game in my life if we would have lost to Vandy at home. That's for sure.
Fair enough.
Good time though. Good time.
I hear it's still like -30 up in God's country, Canada.
Erroneous.
That's erroneous.
Beautiful. It is.
What is beautiful in February in
it's
Western
free.
Canada?
It's 0 degrees Celsius. I think that's 32 Fahrenheit.
Oh wow, that is a heat wave.
That's beautiful. Shit's melting. The shitty part is it melts during the day and then freezes at night, so it's a goddamn skating rink everywhere.
Well, I mean, you're used to that. I thought there's a skating rink on every corner.
There basically is. I mean, I guess we're used to that. It's just kind of annoying, but we'll take that over -40 any day. It was. It's definitely been worse. That's for sure.
Now back this week, I hear he's sulking a lot. It's Jimmy G's forearm bodyguard, Lance Fishel.
Yeah, I don't want to talk.
Are you okay? Oh, okay.
No, we need to hear. Come on, you got to talk about it.
Yeah, talk about it.
Talk about it
with your friends and family.
Yeah, I'd rather not talk about the.
This is a safe
Super
space.
Bowl. Yeah, it's not. It's not a safe space.
Like you haven't seen any Super Bowl victories in your lifetime. Give me a fucking break.
Yeah, but I was younger for most of them. Like in the last decade, the two have been, very end of the game losses. We lost in the last play of the game in versus Baltimore in 2012, and then we had the collapse this year. So it's not fun. But this is a podcast, and I got to see in person since the last time we talked. And also, this is 2 shows in a row I'm joining. So you're welcome.
Congratulations, Lance.
If there's one more, we can call it a streak.
Yeah, I think 2 is a streak. I mean, I'm a Florida State football fan. We haven't won 2 in a row in a long time.
Yeah, that's certainly true. Yeah, but you did go to a show in person. Let's go with the letter grade system. How is Raleigh? How is the crowd? And how is the card?
Yeah, so Raleigh's awesome. I've been to Raleigh a ton of times with work. I've been to Raleigh a bunch for work. Raleigh's one of the hotbed for technology companies in the South. So some of the biggest tech companies in the world have giant offices there. It's super random. So Raleigh's awesome. Tons of good bars, a lot of stuff to do, super fun. The crowd and the venue was packed. I mean, it was filled to the brim. I think it was the first ever UFC event in Raleigh. The crowd was great. There was people tailgating like an hour before the doors opened in the parking lot. It was pretty wild.
Why were you there before the doors opened?
Well, our hotel was right there, so we were there was like a restaurant right where we were at, and we were walking in. So there were still people out there. Like we got there probably like 10 minutes after the doors opened, but there have been people out there all day, and there was people at the restaurant tailgating. There was people from my hotel tailgating. It was a pretty good scene. The fights were okay. I mean, there was a couple good fights, I guess. It was exactly as expected. I mean, it's not a good sign when Angela Hill has one of the best fights on the card, at least from an excitement level. There was a lot of decisions. There were some really, really bad chick fights. The Sarah McMahon fight was really fucking bad. And then I already forgot their names, but the people I forgot their names. Their fight was really fucking bad. Who was that? It was two random chicks.
Shit draws. That fight was pretty fucking
Oh
bad.
yeah, the girl who shit her
Kish
pants.
versus Pudlova.
Yeah.
Oh
luckily I
yeah,
missed-
Justin Kish. Terrible
Yeah, everyone-
fight. You're right.
Raleigh must know their fights because I went up to get a beer during that fight, and there must have been 40 people in line. Like everyone in the entire arena went to get a beer during after the first round of that fight.
Smart.
Yeah. So it was depressing kind of seeing Junior go out like that a little bit as a fan.
I quite enjoyed it.
Yeah. Same.
No, that was sad. It's
Just
Junior.
made too
He's
much
the
money
nicest-
on it. I was hard to
Yeah.
be upset.
Come on,
He's
Lance.
like
It's
the
all about the
nicest
Benjamins.
dude. No, I'd rather lose money and a guy like Junior win, or in this case, lose money
Both.
and Junior lose.
Why? I mean, he's past it.
It's over.
Because he's Junior. He's like the sweetest guy.
He's that old man. He's the old man. Now you got to move over for the young buck.
Well, I was depressed at first because the reason I was going to Raleigh in the first place and why I got tickets to this card because I wanted to see Frankie Edgar. And Frankie obviously did not fight in the card and he got his ass kicked for Korean Zombie. But really, it was probably a blessing because if I would have watched Frankie Edgar and Junior Dos Santos get knocked out violently and back-to-back, cried the whole way home.
And it was likely going to happen, by the way.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, probably. Hey, last show had the Do Bronx fight been announced? I don't think that had been announced. since
No,
the
we
last time
talked about it. Remember we talked about the
Did we?
crazy odds that the old Russian book that I had?
That's
Yes.
right.
Yeah.
When is that fight?
Is it
March 14th.
Yeah.
Oh, is that the one in Brasilia?
Yeah, that's the stacked Brazil card.
There always is one. It's amazing.
It's
I'm
awesome.
gonna be watching from my phone in a hotel room in Indianapolis.
Annapolis, like the
What the
Navy
fuck
hometown?
Mm.
you doing in Annapolis?
Indianapolis.
Oh, I was gonna say.
Yeah, I got a weird week that week. We're going to Indianapolis that Saturday morning. We're going to the Big Ten We're going to the Big Ten basketball tournament. We're driving to Michigan. I'm there for 3 days, and then Helena and the kids are staying in Michigan. I'm flying to Minnesota for the NCAA wrestling tournament.
That's right. Your wife is a Michigan State grad, right?
Correct.
Sparty. That's right. Makes sense.
And on the way, so on my plane,
This is your first
time.
time going to the NCAA wrestling tournament?
Yeah, it's a really hard ticket to get. It sells out like a year in advance.
Well, it's
and-
not a big venue, and everything's in one place. So.
Well,
yeah.
even giant venues like NCAA wrestling is massive up north, and so I had an interesting plane ride. So on the way there to Raleigh, I sat next to an NCAA ref who reffed NCAA wrestling finals matches, and he was actually flying to Raleigh to ref some ACC wrestling. And then Luke Sanders walks by on my plane, and the guy next to me knew him, was like, "Hey, Luke, how's it going?"
What was that meet that was this past weekend? Iowa.
Did you ask Luke if he likes getting choked?
Iowa.
Or he likes
Iowa
choking
and
in
Penn
fights.
State. Iowa Penn State was last Friday, which was awesome. It was a really good meet.
I read something that supposedly did some really good numbers on ESPN and shit.
Yeah, well, so
Viewership
it was
numbers.
it was on Big Ten Network, and like a Friday night on Big Ten Network, it did like 400,000.
Yeah,
which is pretty
yeah.
good. Which is pretty damn good for wrestling
Big
on
Ten
Big Ten
Network.
Network, which it's not available everywhere. But the meet was great.
Good for you. This sounds
Yeah.
like a fun trip.
Yeah, it was good.
Well, I guess we'll talk about this card a little bit. I'll just kind of briefly go through the preliminary card. Herbert Burns, the guy that nobody
Jesus.
thought could KO anybody, just annihilates this Nate Landwehr guy. That was a way to start off a day, Lance. I mean, that probably woke you up.
Yeah, that was a shocking result. I didn't see it playing. I thought he was done early on when he was getting choked to death. But yeah, it was fun while it lasted. That was a fun fight because right before Burns got the knockout, he got rocked, and I thought the
Yeah, he
tables
did.
were turning there. And so it was a good fight. It was a good scrap.
Next up, I think was this our consensus bet with Brett Johns?
Twas.
Yes.
Yes,
Was
it
and this was a really good fight. Gravely is a pretty solid fighter himself. This was a very competitive matchup, but Johns took over in the third. got the submission victory. Pretty good win. Then, of course, we saw a women's fight. The Lance's favorite, Sarah McMahon. Biggest biceps in women's MMA.
So bad.
Bet on wrestlers.
Yeah.
That was so
Yeah,
bad.
Lance, why didn't you bet on that? That's
This
your
is
bread and butter
bad.
right there.
Then we saw
No.
Montel Jackson beat Pilares, and Montel Jackson couldn't knock out I don't even got
That was
he
such
started,
bullshit.
Started
I had
gassing.
doesn't go to decision, and I was like, "Are you fucking kidding me?"
This
Like,
guy
Yeah, I had the
has
under.
no power, dude.
ugh.
No
Yeah, but, like,
power.
All he had to do is like touch him a few times. Like there was like 10 times in the fight where
Yep.
all he had to do was touch him a couple
Couple
extra
more
and
times.
he's out.
Yeah. Yep. Agreed. They're the refs.
And I had the
stops it.
under.
Yeah.
So
brutal.
bad. So bad. Then we this was really a 3-fight.
One of the
whammy.
worst ever.
Justine Kish and Lucy Pudilova. Man, this fight was bad. Lucy Pudilova, it was so weird. I don't know what she was doing. Like, wow, like each of these fighters were like trying to throw punches from like 7 feet away. It was so bad.
Beat the
This,
shit
them
out
both.
of there.
this was worse than the McMahon Landsberg fight. It really was.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
this is terrible
Yeah.
to watch. Yeah, enough of that. I thought the next fight was pretty good with Arnold Allen and Nick Lentz. This was competitive. Of course, announcers a little biased towards Lentz, trying to say that he's actually, having really good moments in the fight. I thought Allen won this fight kind of going away. And then Bevan Lewis beat Daquan Townsend by decision. I still don't buy Bevan Lewis. He kind of has that Uriah Hall, like, I don't want to hurt anybody mentality. So bizarre.
He
But
sucks.
Townsend,
Yeah.
Straight up.
Yeah.
Townsend's
They both
worse,
suck.
obviously.
They suck. They're terrible.
Minus laying 5 to or imagine laying 5-1 on Bevan Lewis. That's just
Hell yeah.
That's crazy. He's so bad.
Jamal
So
Hill, main card, 5-fight main card. Jamal Hill, decision, Darko, beefy like Pat Wyman, Stosich.
That wasn't a bad fight. It wasn't terrible.
Hill's not bad. He's
He was
not
funny.
too bad. Yeah.
Stosich has like 4 minutes of cardio, though.
Yeah, that guy's terrible.
And
Feels
then
not
Lance-
bad, especially for a guy
and
with
then-
6 fights.
Yeah, I guess. Lance's favorite fight on the card, Angela Hill finishing Hannah Cyphers with TKO elbows. I mean, if you elbow somebody in the head for 3 minutes straight, I mean, you probably should get the finish.
I would fucking hope so.
Yeah, I would hope so too. I was really impressed with Alex Perez.
He's good.
Yeah, he is,
So
isn't
good.
he? Submission victory over Espinoza. It's only a matter of time before Perez is threatening the top 5 of the flyweight division. Maybe one more win, and he might be there. I think it's time they give him a real step up in competition. This was definitely a bit of a surprise. I
Whip
mean,
it out, Sean. Whip it out.
Man, Dos Anjos got. The takedown's coming. This isn't Covington either, and Michael Chiesa just had no problem getting this guy to the mat. Brutal beat for Dos Anjos at this point. He's
He
not
also
done.
went up to 170. Nice, man. That dude did it right. He's like massive at 170, dude.
Well, he's
He's
tall.
fucking huge.
Yeah.
Tall, long, but like fuck. Chiesa's striking is still absolute trash. So
Doesn't need to be good.
it doesn't need to be good, but if the tough thing is 170 is full of wrestlers. So if a wrestler stuffs his shot, he is going to get lit up on the feet.
By who? Covington?
Covington would light him up, I think.
Covington Covington beat him on the feet.
Covington would fuck up Michael Chiesa. Covington would light him up.
Tired.
He looked like Floyd Mayweather against Chiesa.
Chiesa can beat a lot of guys, though, outside of those few really good wrestlers, though, I think, at 170, man. He's like a fucking blanket. Like, taking Dos Anjos down like that and controlling him a lot was rather impressive, I thought.
Yep.
Even though I think RDA's definitely declining. There's no doubt.
He's old.
He's getting old. He's taking a lot of beatings, and this is just not a great stylistic matchup if you can't get away from those takedowns.
I didn't think
Anjos is
Chiesa would take
35, and he's fought 42 times in his career.
I didn't
Including
think Chiesa would
some
get him
beam
down
downs
that
the
much.
last handful of fights too.
Yeah, the Tony Ferguson fight stands out.
Well, just
certainly.
Usman and Covington, and
Look who he's fought his last 6 fights.
it's crazy.
Waller,
Yeah, everybody,
Covington,
yeah.
Usman, Kevin Lee, Leon Edwards, Lance's Who, and Michael and now Chiesa. I mean, it's really impressive. Then he fought before that Magny, who he beat. He beat Tarek Safety. Then he fought Ferguson, Eddie Alvarez, Donald Cerrone, Anthony Pettis, Nate Diaz, Ben Henderson, Jason High. That was the only one that stands out. Then Habib, Cerrone. I mean, Jesus Christ.
That's a high.
15 fights is like that might be, in terms of a 15 fight run, as good as anyone's, like in terms of competition, as
Strength of
high
competition
as
is
anyone
very
ever
high.
fought. Yeah, it's super high. I mean, part of it obviously was being champion, but it's really impressive. And I mean, he had a winning record during that time, so it's, I guess he's pretty good.
RDA underrated.
No,
All time?
I saw some people kind of shitting on him, man, after this fight and a little bit before it. I think he's a little bit underrated.
Old.
are you assuming that RDA was clean this whole time?
I mean, I don't assume anybody's
Who
clean.
gives a shit?
That doesn't bother me
Well,
whatsoever. I don't care.
There's clean to more clean.
I don't know about that, man.
You're gonna
I
compare Frankie Edgar to Henan Barao and say that's the same level of clean?
I mean, you would you ever be shocked if Frankie Edgar popped dirty with something? Like, come on, man. Like,
Yeah.
I take no. I don't care. I don't care.
One and two, I think Henan Barao was so far on the gills of the stuff, you can't even make a comparison.
I mean, I don't care. That stuff doesn't matter to me.
It does matter.
It
No, I don't
doesn't.
care
It doesn't to me. I almost
No.
think like Henan Barao could have been washed up from the 35 fights he had too by the time he was 29 years old. There's a lot of things that go into that. I don't care about the fucking PED shit. It doesn't bother me.
I love steroids, man. Do you remember the TRT Vitor run? That was one of the greatest things ever.
Titor.
And people still consider him one of the greatest fighters ever. They don't take anything away from
I think
Vitor.
we all like fighters at their highest level because we want to see the sport at the highest level. So I agree with you, but to say that it's not someone's enhanced over it, no.
I just
don't
think
care.
I think most of them are enhanced though one way or another. Some maybe a whole lot more than others, but I seriously think 70-80% of guys that have stepped into a cage have done something. Like, you can't train and fight like that for every single day of your life and not be on something. You're going to break down.
Your body does break down. Main event, we touched on this. Lance Sadid by seeing Junior Dos Santos get TKO'd by Curtis Blades, who he's pretty good.
He's
we
good.
talked about this.
Yeah, so now I think me and you, Jay, said like at least like 3 times him in the hog fight.
That was what we said, yeah.
I think it might end up being more, maybe. Those are like the 2 best young guys, especially if Hog takes out,
I think if I had to make the odds, I would probably make it like it would be 3.5 and slightly juiced to the under. I think it's almost a lock that they fight a 3rd time. A 4th time is, it's
The only thing
possible.
that would run into that is Francis isn't actually that young.
Yeah, I know, that's what I'm saying. And there's going to be other guys. And how
But
dominant is one fight versus the other. If Francis beats him again, like he's beaten him 3 times already.
If Blades beats him next time, then they'll absolutely fight again after that. I think that's almost guaranteed then.
Yeah, it has to be. There's no one else.
There's a few good young heavyweights now, man. It's
not getting crazy.
Anthony Rumble Johnson.
Yeah, bring Rumble back and it's over, right?
Have you seen picture of him recently? He's not going heavyweight. He's like slim. He looks like 205 Rumble already. He's gonna murder somebody. That's
How
gonna
does
be
he
death.
lose weight? He loses weight faster than any other human, maybe ever.
Man, you said
I
you've
just
seen
cannot
him
wait to see
recently?
him. Yeah, there was a picture like it was probably a couple days ago I saw, and he is not. His face is thinned down. He doesn't. He's not like he's massive. Like he looks
making
like
a comeback.
There's like a a year ago
He
he
mentioned
was with a couple weightlifters and he looked like he was 300 fucking pounds, like
Yeah, he
muscle
did.
jacked. I mean, like he's on so much fucking shit. He was
I feel
huge.
like he can lose like 20, 25 pounds in like 10 days.
And
He must have it down to like a T. It's
every
incredible.
wrestler I've
Like,
known in my life can do that.
That guy
yeah,
make
but
it.
he
What was
does it
One-
easily.
Was it
Lance, he's
170?
not even fasting.
What was Rumble's lowest? Was it 170?
Yeah,
Yeah,
he made
170.
170
Yeah.
a couple times.
That was
That was
nuts.
insane.
Well, he said he's fighting. What is it? March, I think, or April. He said they haven't announced his opponent, but he made a tweet that he was fighting at like UFC 248 or something.
Dude, that guy lost to Charlie Brenneman.
That was
He didn't.
crazy.
He knocked Charlie Brenneman out.
Yeah, but didn't Charlie Brennan eye poke his ass?
I thought he subbed him.
No,
think
he
he
knocked
poked him
Charlie Brenneman
first.
out with a head kick in his face in the
I
first.
thought he subbed Charlie. I thought Charlie Brenneman subbed him.
No, that's that highlight reel knockout where Rumble kicked him in the face.
Didn't
he
he
went
fight him twice,
unconscious and
I thought
halfway.
he fought him twice.
No, he fought once. He kicked him in the face. Brenneman got knocked out. When he hit the ground, he woke back up and then started complaining about the stoppage. It's in every Rumble highlight video.
I gotta look this up.
He lost to Kevin Burns. That's who I got eye poked. Or he
Yeah,
eye
the
poked
Brenneman
him. I
fight
forget
was like
what
a
the
minute,
fuck.
I think. The Brenneman
Yeah.
fight was hilarious. It's one of the most
200,
hilarious
2
knockouts
minutes and
ever.
49 seconds. He murdered that
Yeah.
dude.
Yeah.
Kevin Burns, Rich Clemente. Oh my god.
It's like quality fucking UFC
Rich
right there.
Clemente. Oh man, that's so
Rumble's
bad.
back, baby.
They know how to let some guys can crush.
I wonder who he fights. Like, let's
Rumble
assume he goes
turns
205.
36 years old, man.
Like,
I don't
yeah, but, I
know.
mean,
I think
I
they
think-
give him a contender because I mean if he wins
have
one,
to.
that's gonna be the next guy who Bones fights.
Yeah,
Well,
they gotta
Bones-
be paying him some decent money to come back. I would think.
Let's
He's
take
a
a look.
name.
Bones has said several times he's wanted to fight Rumble. Like he's mentioned it before because
Well,
it's
he
really
was
the only
sub-Rumble.
guy. Oh,
Yep.
not that Rumble would have a chance versus anyone else, but if you ask me who has a better chance, Rumble or Dominick Reyes, I'm picking Rumble all day because Rumble can knock your head off your body.
I'm
They could do
There's one
Rumble
punch.
and Thiago Santos. I don't
I'm
know.
probably still picking Rumble out of anybody.
Lachlan, Santos.
Oh,
Ozdemir.
100% Wes.
Like
Yeah.
best chance against Jones still to this day is probably still Rumble, just because he's got that fucking power, man. That's
If
probably
I
why
meet-
Bones wants him though, is because everybody says that too. Like
It's the
Rumble's
power,
got the
yeah.
shot. Yeah, Rumble's got the chance. You know.
If I
Those
think,
guys give
I
the
think
fight.
what
Anthony
what makes the
Smith.
most. Yeah, I was gonna say I think Anthony Smith would make the most sense. Honestly, it's a top 5 guy. Rumble's probably going to
Could be
Rumble would
absolutely
kill
murder
him.
Ozdemir.
Rumble would
I don't know.
kill him.
Any of those guys are possible.
Not Vulcan. Vulcan will just try to hug him and shit against the cage, and you don't want that. We need
Anthony
bows
Smith's-
being thrown.
Anthony Smith's fighting Glover in
They was,
in April.
Yeah, they would
really.
You know who's
Yep.
talking about coming out of retirement
What
was
about
fucking
Blachowicz?
Jimmy Minowa, dog.
Manoa.
A
Oh,
rematch.
Yeah,
What about Johnny Walker?
Ooh,
He would-
do you want
Rumble
to
would-
run? Do you want to
that's-
run
that's-
Johnny Walker like that?
That's not like even off a 2-year layoff. Rumble sleeps Johnny Walker without even taking a breath. Who is
I wouldn't take that chance of running Johnny Walker.
no, like even to now, like has anyone just like outstruck Rumble easily? Like
What
I
about
don't,
Thiago Santos? They can do that fight.
that's a great fight. But then I think
Yeah,
you're taking the
that's-
2 contenders that people want to see
yeah, there's
if
probably
he comes
some
back.
truth to that.
There's solid opportunities.
Yeah, there's a fucking number of guys that's you're like, ooh, I like that. You could say that a bunch of times.
Yeah, I think anyone you put in a cage with Rumble, you're going to be excited for.
Yeah.
Besides, like a guy who's just going to try to lay on him.
that's usually the
Corey
problem
Anderson.
with Rumble. Yeah, that
Corey
would be
Anderson. I don't want to see him fight Corey Anderson.
Yeah, keep him far
Yep.
away from. Yeah.
No, Corey gets hit and gets slapped.
It's true, but I don't know if he does against Rumble.
man.
Rumble will turn you into a daily fucking MMA radio show where you try to charge people $1.
Oh my God! Should we talk about that? Holy fuck!
I don't think we should talk about it. I was looking at this card as we were talking over the last 20 minutes, and I want to say I don't know 60% of the people on this card coming up.
Possible.
Oh,
Where is this card? Houston, Texas?
Yeah.
I think this
Big
is actually an
advantage for
LFA
Derek
card.
Lewis here, by the way.
Is this an LFA card headlined by John Jones?
No, there's some other guys on there.
Yeah, like
There's like 3 or 4.
Journey Newsom,
Oh,
Don't
Austin
stop
Lingo,
believing.
Youssef Zalal. There's all kinds of great guys in this.
There's a bunch of people off that fought on LFA and shit on this card.
They're currently on LFA. It's just labeled UFC.
Yeah, this is it's a pretty rough one.
Oh, Jimmy Rivera was supposed to fight Marlon Vera on this card. That would have been better.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, anything would have been better. And like, they're doing 2 title fights, except one doesn't count. So it's 1 title fight.
Because there's one fighter in there and there's one that's not.
No, because there's no fighters.
Lance, there's one fighter.
Who? I don't know who that is.
Yeah, you do.
She dances. She's a dancer.
Oh, it's Invicta? Oh,
What's way better than an Invicta fighter?
when worlds collide.
The first fight on this Houston card, Wes, is
Start with a banger.
Andre Ewell and Jonathan Martinez. I guess this won't be terrible.
It will.
Eh,
Wes,
yeah, it's not too bad of a fight. Yeah, I've never been a big believer in Ewell, man. This guy's still living off beating Barral. I think anytime he gets a fight with somebody decent, he loses. I don't think Jonathan Martinez is the guy. So yeah, I like Ewell here. I can't put any money on the guy though. I don't trust him whatsoever, but he should win this fight.
Nushan, you agree with Wes?
Yeah, I give the edge to Ewell. Both these guys are not very good. I guess Ewell did a bit better than I expected. Last time out, I thought Marlon Vera would take him out a bit sooner. So I guess he's got that going for him. But that's fucking about it. He's got a 5-inch reach advantage. So if he can use that, maybe he'll be able to win a boring ass decision.
I'm going to skip Lance because I don't think he has an opinion on this fight.
I've seen the one guy who beat Barral a couple times. Yeah, him.
He's been around.
No, I've heard of both of these young fellas. I think Ewell's better. I would, if it gets closer to a pick'em, I think I would actually look at it. I don't want to lay any substantial juice, but if it's one of those fight day movements and it gets around even money, I might take a shot at him because I do think he's better. I'm just not willing to lay minus 140 or 135 on him.
I think Ewell is certainly more skilled. I don't know if he's tougher than Martinez, and so that could certainly play a part. I think Martinez maybe more consistent over 3 rounds. Ewell's more of a quicker starter, so that's a little tough. I do think when it comes to the guys that I both grade a D+, same grade, I'll take the guy that I just view as a little more technical, and that's Ewell. So I'll take Ewell by decision, but not a fight I particularly want to bet on.
Jay, we missed a fight that
I'm not
nobody gives
talking
a fuck about.
Two
LFA guys.
I don't know those guys. I'm not talking about
That
them.
guy Lingo's fun though. That dude knocks people out.
Austin Lingo.
He's got 5 first-round knockouts,
and it's against some decent guys in the LFA. He's not
so
bad.
You're telling me, Wes, that he talks with his hands?
Let's move on.
Journey Newsom and Domingo Pilarte in a fight that I do not care at all about. But Wes, maybe you have something here that is worth talking about.
I would completely pass on this fight, man. This is a couple guys that you want to sit back and
don't
watch.
Stop believing, Wes.
I will not stop believing. I'm going to pick Journey Newsom, but I'm not touching this fight. Fuck this fight.
After this fight, do you think Journey's wheels in the sky are going to keep on turning?
Oh, he's got a 7-inch height advantage and a 6-inch reach advantage. This guy's going to be fucking Pilarte does. Yeah, so if he loses, that's going to be some sweet tall guy defense right there.
Well, Lance, after this fight, do you think these guys are going to go separate ways?
Fucking Jay. Oh.
Yeah. That's good. That was solid. I think the Plarte guy fight. Didn't he lose as like a gigantic favorite in his last fight?
What was he? He was a minus 400 favorite and lost.
That's pretty good.
That's...
So you can trust him. He's reliable. Yeah. I got nothing on this. I've heard the name Journey Newsom. I can't think of I've seen him fight or anything. Has he fought in the UFC before?
One time.
Did he lose?
He went 3 with
Ricardo
Ramos, I think.
Yeah, he fought Ricardo Ramos, and Ramos didn't finish him. So that's his claim to fame.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, that's impressive. Put that in your tombstone.
Hell yeah.
I'm not touching this one.
Nah, that's fair. I got both guys at D. I've seen Plarte in the UFC, and I don't think he's good enough. I don't know. I'll give the benefit of the doubt to the new guy just on principle. Don't believe anything I say in this fight. I don't care. So I'm gonna move on to the Fight Pass headliner. It's Miles Johns, who I think Lance is fairly high on, against something called Mario Bautista. Wes.
Yeah, I like Miles Johns in this fight. He looked pretty decent on the Contender Series. Had a decent win over a tough undefeated guy in Cole Smith in his UFC debut, and is training at probably one of the best gyms, one of the hottest gyms anyway in the country right now. Yeah.
You mean literally because it's Arizona and it's hot?
No, that's the marinara spot over there. That's where Batista's at. Actually, I think that's
spicy.
Yeah, chicken parm's gonna fill him up. Yeah, I just wasn't impressed, man. Sagagan destroyed him, of course. But he didn't look great against Jinsu, whatever the fuck. Yeah, I like Johns there, man. I wish the price would get down a little bit more, but we'll probably look at putting a small bet on him if the line goes down a little bit.
Your boy. Oh, I see what you're looking at. Fortis MMA, where Span and CDF.
Like everyone who's winning.
A lot of young guys. Yeah, they're like they're producing winners right now, man. They just got that. It just when guys start winning like that, it seems to be contagious at a gym.
Alonzo Menafields. Oh, but they got Kennedy. They got that dude Kennedy, and that guy can't fight.
Nunchucks. Kenny Nunchucks?
They got Austin Lingo.
But they got some bigger guys. Like, are you looking on SureDog or where are you looking, Jay?
I'm looking on Topology. I'm looking at their list.
Because they got some good names there, but it doesn't seem like Topology has it updated.
Deron Williams is an owner of this gym, by the way.
They have a lot of contenders there, man.
Yeah, they're good.
Very good. Yeah, I wouldn't go against them right now. I think this is a fairly close fight.
You would fade the Lab?
The Lab's been in some shambles the past couple of years.
The Lab is kind of fractured right now.
Yeah.
Half the guys leaving, half the guys staying. I don't know if somebody
coaches leaving.
I don't know if there was maybe some salmonella after a particular.
Somebody fucked up the chicken parm recipe or something. I don't know.
Man,
I'll pick Miles John, but not gonna bet this fight.
Lance, I think you may have a bet here.
Yeah, I haven't finalized everything. Today, like 10 minutes ago, was when the first time I looked at this card. So I haven't bet anything yet. I do like Miles Johns. I was super impressed with him on the Contender Series, and I know you don't always face the best competition there, but I think you can see a guy's style, you can see what he can do, you can see his wrestling ability. And John just seems like he's going to be consistent in the UFC and beats the guys he's supposed to. Probably loses to the guys he can't take down and can't get on top of. But he seems like a consistent kind of guy. You know what you're going to expect out of him. And I think he's a little undersized, but I like him. I like his wrestling ability, and I think he wins this fight pretty easily. So yeah, I'll be looking at taking John's. Not sure if I'll take him straight or maybe parlay him with Bones or something. I haven't figured that out yet, but I'll have some kind of bet on him.
I got Bautista at D. John's a D+. I'm with Lance. I think John's is a pretty decent prospect. Bautista has done very little thus far in his UFC career. John's more talented, better striker, better fighter.
Wrestler.
Wrestler.
Better wrestler. He wrestled in
Wrestler.
college. He wasn't like amazing or anything, but he was collegiate.
That's good enough. Preliminary card on ESPN. Oh, Wolf City to start this.
Hell yeah.
Lauren Murphy taking on one of Wes's favorite fighters, Andrea KGB Lee.
That's one of Lance's favorite fighters.
Being sarcastic.
Isn't she a Nazi?
She loves Lance.
No,
Hey, she's not a Nazi.
She hangs
She's a
out
Nazi
with him.
lover.
She hangs out with right.
I
that's
didn't
right.
notice the huge swastika on your back. I would have never guessed you hated the Jews. Dana,
I
don't
thought it was
fire
just a
me.
cool design.
Yeah, I thought he just got drunk one night and just drew it out himself.
He's signing in India. So,
God.
He said the peace sign in India. Jesus Christ. Look, Andrea Lee should win this fight, but man, if you're trusting laying minus 350 on her after that last performance, good luck to you. Lauren Murphy sucks, but she's fucking tough, and I wouldn't trust Angela Lee at minus 350. She'll be my pick to win, but no way am I betting her.
all right, new Sean. Over.
I took Angela Lee by decision at minus 150. I think she's better. Both these chicks. Andrea Lee's only been in decisions in the UFC. Lauren Murphy's only lost by decision, so she can take a punch. I mean, look at that face. Obviously, she can take a punch. So I think Lee's going to win and win by decision.
Lance.
Do you remember when old Sean, every time there was a women's fight, he would just start breaking down some
Movies.
random film?
I
that
might
no
start
one
doing
heard
that.
of? It would be some movie literally no one's ever heard of, and he would just jump right in and start breaking it down. Yeah, that's my pick for the fight.
So you're not breaking down a movie?
No. I was breaking down the breaking down of a movie. It's like the movie Inception.
Ooh.
It's a movie breakdown inside of a movie breakdown inside of an old podcast.
Well, I saw Uncut Gems yesterday.
Nope, it's got to be a random movie no one's heard of.
Yeah, no one's heard
It's
of.
got to be like a
Oh, this is my
1950s horror flick from
This is my
Sweden or
thing.
some shit.
No, I'm not doing that. I do my thing. Now only in Uncut Gems can you sports bet sports at the Mohegan Sun Casino in Connecticut and do six
Co-related parlays?
six piece co-related parlays for over $100,000 of risk, including the tip off.
Hell yeah.
That's getting that Mike Francesca inside knowledge for the film.
That's very good.
They consulted him on the sports betting aspect of
It was a very good 2-minute cameo by the Mike Francesa. It was good. 7.8 overall rating. There was some excessive cursing, just some pieces I didn't like. If you're gonna do the gambling thing, like at least like you don't have to fib about it. There's no need to. The Kevin Garnett cameo is very good. So people, bettors, sports fans, it's worth a watch. Is it a Academy Award winning movie? No, but it's not, it's one of the better films of the year. One of the better films of the year. Yeah, don't care. Andrea Lee will win. New Sean's probably got the right play there with the decision because Lauren Murphy's like basically impossible to knock out. So probably the right play. Let's move on to Alex Morano taking on something called Kaylin Williams.
Who the fuck is that?
Wes
got an answer to that
that
question?
a girl?
That's what I thought.
He is very muscular for a lady.
He's
Hey, that is sexist. It's 2020. Don't say
Yeah,
stuff like that.
CrossFit's real.
Yeah, bro. Have you seen Sarah McMahon?
Yeah, that's true.
Have you seen that tattoo though? Was the question.
No.
What tattoo?
Yeah.
Oh, Sarah McMahon's back tattoo?
Oh, that tramp stamp?
Oh,
Man, well,
my
the
God.
tramp
You need to
stamp
look
and
that
the back
up.
tattoo is fucking
Yeah.
terrible.
That
Oh,
back
is it
tattoo
hot?
is.
Super hot.
Woo!
I'm
Not
gonna
at
look it
all.
up right now.
Didn't
Sarah
Louis Scott
McMahon,
knock her up?
Yes, he fathered a
that-
child.
Is
Oh,
that true or was that a rumor?
wait, which tattoo am I looking at? The full back tattoo or the lower
Yeah,
back tattoo?
That full back, I don't know about the lower back. That full back is.
It's all bad. Let's be serious.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
Bottom,
bad.
looking at the bottom tattoo, that's a new tattoo, the top one, because the one on the bottom, oh yeah.
Yeah, no, imagine having like 2 kids already and getting that newer back tattoo. That's some good stuff there.
She also tattoo. Is that her leg? What am I looking at here?
I'm thinking of getting a tattoo of the one life roll the dice tattoo on my chest.
Is that a lion on her back and a gun?
What about getting the
What am I
exact
looking
tramp
at?
stamp that he has though, Lance? Like, I'm not
Great
sure what it
Maynard.
is because it's like old and green and shit. But
Maynard's got the best tattoos. Between this horrible tramp stamp and then the one life roll the dice right in his fucking
Yeah.
chest.
and that was it. He stopped at those.
Yeah.
Like,
I love you, Gray Maynard.
imagine
Learned his
thinking
lesson.
like,
How
my
much money do you
tattoo-
think I've lost on Gray Maynard in my life?
Way
Too
too
much.
much.
Way
Maybe
too
more-
much.
Do you think I've lost more? Like, do you think he's number one on my list of guys I've lost the most money on? It's
I
gotta
know
be.
Bear Jew is the one you've made most, I swear.
Oh, it's gotta be Dubronx, obviously.
Yeah, but he's got some losses in there.
Yeah, but there was a couple I didn't bet on
Okay.
early on, and I bet on him to inside the distance on every fight during this win streak. But Bear Jew, I hit some fucking monsters.
Some
on.
monsters.
Like that one versus that random Russian dude where he's tapped out with like 1 second
Yeah.
left. I had like
Ankle
Bear
ab,
Jew
yep.
sub plus 500 or something, and I've hit some monsters on the Bear Jew. He's fighting in a couple weeks, I think.
He is.
He always fighting. He's pretty active.
Yeah, he's a fucking Bear Jew.
Where were
Fuck
we
yeah.
though?
Who cares? We're talking about Bear Jew. And
We're looking
Maynard
at
and Dubronx.
Kalen Williams.
Oh yeah. Wes was
For
telling
sure.
that he was beefy, and that's all I remember.
Is she a
Got
strawweight?
lost.
Yeah, Kalen Williams looks like an absolute can crusher, and somebody that's gonna gas like a motherfucker when Morono's just like throwing 1,000 strikes at him. So, who knows though? Morono, I just don't think is great. I never have. The guy somehow wins fights.
I know.
Would I be shocked if this can crusher guy that looks like fucking he's jacked the fuck up like catches Morono? I wouldn't be shocked. So I'm gonna pass. Pick Morono, but I wouldn't lay 3-1 on Morono here.
Like Williams definitely breathes with the gills. You know, he doesn't.
Yeah, somehow Powder fucking wins against, I mean, not great guys, but I mean, he beat Max Griffin and Song Kanon, Zach Otto, some fucking how he's winning these fights. So, as long as he doesn't get finished in the first couple minutes, I think he wins.
Gonna win. Yeah.
By just being him.
I assume Lance picks Alex Morono.
I don't know, this
Isn't
big
it
black guy. Come on now.
So isn't it Moreno?
It's Morono.
It's spelled Morono, but I think it's pronounced Moreno.
Well,
That
that's
doesn't
dumb,
make
and we
any
cannot do
sense.
that.
Well, all right, where's he from? That's how we're going to solve this.
He's
He's
probably
from,
from Casper,
Massachusetts.
Wyoming.
I think he's from Massachusetts or something.
He's from. Where the fuck does it say?
Born in Houston, Texas, and these fights
Yeah.
at it.
No,
it's
that's where he
it's
fights.
Moreno. Yeah, it's
He's
Moreno.
now training at Fortis MMA. So there
Oh
you go.
shit!
This is his hometown. He's training in West. So this is a hometown fight for Alex Morono. Think about that.
So I was going to. I'm definitely picking Moreno. I'm just gonna stick with that. And I was thinking about betting him, but I just looked up a picture of this guy.
Told you.
Oh, you're talking about the new guy.
And you know I like me some big, strong men.
You betcha.
And
Yes.
then his nickname is the Ox Fighter. I mean, I'm not betting against that guy. There's fucking no way. I bet
Like
he got
that
some bad
nickname?
tats in there,
You
too.
in on that nickname?
The fucking Ox Fighter? Are you kidding me? Yes.
Ox Fighter. I mean,
I'm
that's
all
I
in.
mean, that sounds like a really. I mean, they didn't really go on a limb on that one.
I mean, I've never heard of an Ox Fighter. I mean, I'm not saying it's like the Bear Jew or anything like that, but Man, ox fighter. Yeah.
So
So
the
I
I
don't
I'd be way more impressed.
I don't know what to pick here because his muscles and his nickname.
I knew I could draw you in there, Lance. Just had to get the picture up.
I was gonna bet him without pulling him up. I was just gonna bet Moreno.
I got
How do we see
deep.
see how you pronounce his name? Because I think I'm right.
Alex Morano. D+, can crusher, D-. He's a can crusher. Morano finds ways to win fights. He's active. He tends to get better as fights go on. One is experience, one is not. And Morano's fighting in his hometown. So I think this is going to be a big night for Houston. It just seems like it's set up that way. I'll take Morano here. Let's move on. Final fight before the pay-per-view. I know, great booking. We got Trevin Giles making his return against something called Antonio Arroyo. Wes.
Yeah, man, I really like Giles in this fight, man. If you bet on this guy here lately, you got some serious fucking clinching going on when he gets into second and third rounds. Look, I think Giles is a really good all around fighter. He can't go 3 rounds like he fights the first couple, but this Arroyo guy I don't think it's the guy to push Giles. I think Giles is gonna be able to do just about whatever he wants here. I'm not even sure how Arroyo is still like getting another fight in the UFC. I didn't think he looked too impressive on the Contender Series. He lost to a pretty bad guy in his debut. I know it was on short notice, but I just think Trevin Giles is the better guy here by a pretty wide margin. I will be clinching in the third, probably a little bit again. You always do, like I said with Giles, but man, at this price against a guy, I just think he's better than I got to take it. So yeah, I'll be betting Giles.
Sean?
Giles is a guy that you just expect to be better than what he is. Even when he's winning the early part of these fights, like he's winning, but he's not doing it spectacularly. So like he definitely should be beating Arroyo. This is a big step down, and the price is short, but I learned my lesson. I've bet on Giles in both the fights that he's lost, so I'm just staying clear. What the fuck is that noise?
Is somebody duct taping a body or something?
Yeah, Lance, you duct taping a body there or what?
It's not me. I hear it. I think it was Jay.
Oh, Jay was duct
tape
a body. That
body?
makes more sense.
I'm not sure what that means, but okay.
Sounds like duct tape rolling around something. What the fuck?
Yeah, I don't have much on this one. I forgot who Giles was, and then I looked him up. Arroyo is really terrible, so Giles probably wins, but I don't think I want to bet on this one.
That's fine.
Smart.
I'm gonna have like no bets on this.
Pretty
I'm
much.
searching for fucking.
This is one of the
bets.
worst. This might be one of the worst
It's
pay-per-views
bad.
I've ever seen. Like, there's no good fights because like Bones on the card, but he has no chance of losing. Like, there's nothing. This is the worst card. I'm not excited for a single fight on this card.
Back to well, whatever.
No, I'm not excited. Who cares?
Fine, you're not excited. Fine.
No excitement. There's nothing here.
Arroyo D-, Giles C-, Arroyo awful, Giles coming off 2 losses in a row. He needs a victory here badly. He's also from Texas. He needs to fight to stay in the UFC. Needs to win. He's going to get the win here and stick around. All right, main card. I guess Lance isn't excited to see the Horse Lord, Ilir Latifi, taking on the sweaty balls, Derek Lewis.
The balls is hot.
They hot, right? Sorry, not sweaty, hot. Sorry, forgot. Wes, are you betting Latifi?
You know he hates Lewis. You know who he's betting.
Yeah, this is some movie.
Look. I am. This is a little more than a fade of Lewis this time. Yeah, everybody knows how I feel about Lewis. I just don't think the guy's good. Yeah, he hits like a fucking truck. Do not get me wrong, but I just cannot ever get out of my head this dude just rolling to his back and just completely gassed out, can't move, laying on his back like a turtle. I mean, just about anybody takes the guy down because he gasses out so damn bad. He doesn't throw punches. He's not that good, man. If he catches Latifi, then he catches Latifi. I think Latifi can do enough to put it on Lewis to get him tired enough to where I think he could catch him with something in the third round and get him out of there. So I'll take the plus 220 I got on Latifi, and if Lewis lands one punch and knocks him out like he seems to do every now and then that's on me. But I'm on Latifi.
All right, Nushan.
I put a small 1-unit play on Latifi as well at plus 245. Like Wes said, Lewis isn't good, but he does win. I mean, as we've seen, as the rants that we've heard from Wes every time he bets against him, and
he's lost 2 out of 3.
Wins. He has lost, but the size difference is going to be fairly big. I don't know what the strength difference is going to be, just because Lewis is obviously a very, very fat man that probably should be making 205, and Latifi is absolutely a tank. I think Latifi can grind a bit, protect himself early, and take over this fight. It's not a big play for me, obviously, because there is some decent disadvantages going in this for Latifi, but I just can't lay that kind of juice with Derek Lewis. If you want to play him as a big dog or close to even money, that's fair enough. But minus 250, whatever the fuck it is, yeah, no chance.
All right, Lance. I know you may have a different opinion in this one.
Yeah, I think this line is way off the other way. Everyone loves to hate on Derek Lewis and says he gets lucky and he lands these lucky shots. And is it lucky if he's done it like 20 times? When you look at this guy's UFC
20.
run,
Let's not.
Come on,
crazy.
He's been dominated for big chunks of fights.
He has 18 knockouts. I apologize for the rounding error. Everyone loves to think Derek Lewis sucks. And he gets lucky and he close fights and then comes back at the end, but he does. He wins. He's a winner. He finds ways to win. He might not look the best. He might not be in shape, but he wins. Latifi likes to lose. Huge fan of losing. He finds ways to grab the L, and he's going up in weight. He's going to be tiny next to Derek Lewis. Lewis gets down to 265. Latifi's been at 205. He was losing at 205, and now he's going to be facing a guy that probably walks around at like 300 pounds. I don't think he's going to be able to take him down. I think he's going to stand in front of Derek Lewis. And this is the same guy that has gotten knocked out before. I just think Derek Lewis is the much better fighter here. I think he does catch Latifi, and even if he doesn't, he'll win a decision because it's Derek Lewis finds a way to win. I mean, during the last few years, his only losses are to Junior Dos Santos and Daniel Cormier. And he's fought some good guys. I mean, he Blago Evanov is not bad. Volkov is not bad. He smoked Francis Ngannou. Like that was like I don't even think Ngannou landed a punch that fight. So I mean, he took the most dangerous fighter in the world and just made him a scared little baby. So Derek Lewis is so much bigger, better, stronger than Ilir Latifi, and I don't see this fight being close at all. I think this is a blowout. I think this is probably the last fight in Latifi's UFC career.
Okay, interesting. I got Latifi a D+, Derek Lewis a B-. I am certainly in the Lance camp and thinking Derek Lewis is going to win this fight. I think this is a major disadvantage to Latifi moving up in weight. I mean, it could be helpful to him against small heavyweights, but man, like Lewis is just way, way bigger. Is going to have a significant weight advantage on fight day. I think it's going to be a struggle for Latifi to get Lewis to the mat. And, in terms of the striking, I mean, Lewis, when he lands, it's like Herculean compared to Latifi. I don't see it. Latifi also, a few things other guys have mentioned is when he's faced guys that are longer than him, he tends to strike from distance and, like, just struggles to land. We saw it routinely against like the Musasi fight, for example. There's been some others as well. But certainly
and Derek Lewis on the feet.
I mean, do you want me to quote other ones? You want me to quote
Hey,
other ones? I can. I just got to look back.
And Nushan, it's not 4 inches. Latifi's 5'8". He's 5'8".
Vulcan. There's been a ton.
He's 5'10".
Not according to Shirt Dog. He's
Well,
5'8".
UFC has him
And
at
I've looked at
5'10".
Wikipedia has him 5'10".
And NFL has these guys. Yeah, he's not 5'10". He's a mid.
They also have him as a 73-inch reach, which is minuscule.
Yeah, because he's 5'8".
Yeah, I mean, you talk about the size, though, and yeah, it's going to be a size disadvantage. Latifi was cutting 30 pounds to get down to 205. I'm not
Everyone
sure
is.
I'm not
weight,
sure.
not size.
I'm not sure he's going to be the fucking weaker guy in this fight, though, by any means. Like, Derek Lewis is 60 pounds of crawfish and Budweiser. Like, come on.
Lewis is a big fucking guy.
He's fucking fat. He's fat.
It works.
He's going to be 50 or 60
He gasses every fight. It doesn't work. By the second round, he's going to be gassed.
Yeah, well, he's facing guys that are real heavyweights, though.
They don't do that, though.
So he gasses every fight, but he has the most knockouts after the second round, maybe in UFC history. So there's got to be something.
That's an indictment on the heavyweight division and how fucking
this
stupid
is the
and dumb they
heavyweight
are.
division.
So okay, well, it's gonna boil down to this. Lewis fought an actual skilled heavyweight, and Volkov got his shit pushed in
and knocked him out.
And Volkov was an absolute moron.
So
Volkov is also 6'6".
So if he gets his shit pushed in for 14 minutes and 59 seconds and he knocks out Latifi, that's fine.
Really
That's all.
Compare 5'10" Latifi and 6'6" Volkov.
No, I'm just comparing guys that are actually skilled, and Derek Lewis gets his shit pushed in every single time. Hell, Ivanov barely throws strikes, and he barely won that fight. He took a split decision.
Ivanov's been stabbed 16 times and survived. Big difference.
Yeah, Derek Lewis. Like,
when did Latifi become skilled?
When did Derek Lewis turn into goddamn Overeem on the feet? The guy throws like 3 punches a round,
and one of them usually knocks someone out.
If he catches it, and if that lands, then that's on me. I'll take plus 220 every time against Derek Lewis. Every single time.
Yep.
All right.
He's going to lose every time because he wins every fight.
Not every fight. He doesn't.
Has he ever lost as a favorite?
He's lost to Junior Dos Santos, Daniel Cormier, and Mark Hunt in the UFC.
Yeah, but looking at that as wins and losses is fucking ridiculous because he was losing most of those fights. I mean, that Francis fight is nothing.
I wonder if they paid him a win bonus in those fights.
See, we're breaking down the fight to make a pick and shit. Like, you can't like discount how bad he loses in these fights leading up to him landing.
He doesn't lose. He wins.
Fair enough. There's a lot of luck that comes out in this, and his luck is about to run out. There's a shit ton of luck.
We're going to talk about it
shit ton.
Either way.
It's luck when you catch a guy clean and put him out.
He lost as a favorite to Mark Hunt.
He was a favorite versus Hunt?
Yep.
That was 7 years ago.
And he lost.
He's the same guy. He's the same guy. That guy has an improved. He does the same shit every fight. The same. Lance just said he does. But he does the same shit. He's got no better. He's got no better.
Move on. Somebody's eating crow next week. We'll figure that out.
There we go.
All right, the fight that I've been looking forward to on this card, Mirsad Bektic, my former boy, taking on Dan Idge. Featherweight should be a fun scrap. Wes, break this one down.
Yeah, man, I still think honestly that Bektic is probably way more skilled here. I really do. I think the guy is such highly skilled, man. But dude, I've seen some say that he's not an actual fighter. You know, he's really skilled, but he's not an actual fighter. I don't know if I necessarily agree with that. But I do think when Bektic gets in deep waters and shit gets tough and fights go long, he does wilt, man. And we've seen Dan Idge in some fights to where he's had to get in there and scrap and hold on to some fights against some pretty tough dudes. So you know what you're gonna get out of out of Dan Idge every time. If I knew Bektic could go 3 and be the same guy over 3 rounds, like I said, I think he's fucking supremely skilled, man. He has all the skills, but I think we know what's going to happen here. Idge is going to stay in really tough, and shit's going to get really bad for Bektic towards the end of the second and into the third round. So, man, I've bet Bektic a lot, and I think this is the time that I jump off that train, man. I think Idge could definitely get a decision here and might even get a later third round stoppage. So I like Idge here quite a bit. He's a bet.
New Sean?
Yeah, I mean, obviously Bektic is a very, very good wrestler. He's got a bit of striking, but I think we've kind of learned what we need to know about Bektic. Is he skilled? Yes. Is the skill gap that big? I don't think so, because I mean you got to throw in cardio, fight IQ, shit like that is a skill as well, and he doesn't have it. He slows down later in fights. That chin is an absolute liability, and even just putting himself in those situations to get hit with that dicey chin. Idge throws fucking hard. He, like Wes said, he's been in a lot of wars. The only guy that's taken him down is Aguilar, but I expect Bektic to probably get a couple takedowns here. But anytime this is on the feet, Bektic is in a lot of trouble. And I'll take a shot. I put 1.5 units on Dan Idge at plus 119, and I put a half a unit on him inside the distance at plus 377. If Bektic wrestles his ass off to a decision for 3 full rounds, I'll take it. But it's going to be sketchy, and if you're betting Bektic, you're going to be clenched for a decent amount of this fight.
All right, Lance.
Yeah, I'm in complete disagreement per
Shocker.
usual. From the person that was top 10 tout master and gamble master, whatever, it's fine.
Well, first time, broken clock.
Good job catching up to us.
yeah, well, I actually paid attention a little bit and didn't skip weeks. And
you were pretty good last year. I'll give you that.
So I think Bektic's choking ability is. I don't think it's as bad as everyone thinks. So it's the Darren Elkins fight. No one can forget the Darren Elkins fight. If you take that fight out, he hasn't choked away any of his fights outside of that Darren Elkins fight. That was the fight he got knocked out with a guy with no power in a fight he was dominating. His other loss to Josh Emmett. Josh Emmett just seems to catch dudes clean and
that
put
was a
them
fucking
out.
jab.
It was
man.
a jab, yeah. It
was a
knocked
soft
him out.
jab.
Something I don't know. Josh Emmett just finds a way to put guys out. I don't know. But the choking ability. Take out the Elkins fight. He hasn't choked away fights. If you look at skills, he is way more skilled than Dan Idge. His wrestling is very, very elite. He trains at TriStar. He's going to use his wrestling. And I think this is a wrestling match for 15 minutes. And I don't think they're even close in terms of wrestling. So I really like Bektic in this fight. Dan Idge does not have power. He is not a power puncher. I think he's got two.
You're crazy on that one.
I think he has two career knockouts, which is not a lot. Last time I checked, 2 is not a ton. It's 2.
He's got 3, by the way.
One was a doctor stoppage. Come on, do your research. So he doesn't have big knockout power. I think, and one was a TKO on the ground stoppage. The guy's not a giant power puncher. So I just don't see him knocking him out clean. I could be wrong on this, but I think Bektic uses wrestling. I think he gets him down. I think he beats him up, and I think he wins a pretty clear decision.
Yeah, because a bunch of his fights have come from dropping somebody and finishing them on the ground with submissions, but that's okay.
Yep.
Let's go. I got both guys a C. This is going to be a really interesting competitive fight. Sure, Bektic has an offensive grappling wrestling advantage. There's no denying that. The Dan Idge, I think, impacts pretty powerful striking. He's way more feisty, way better chin, and has proven he can go for 15 minutes and doesn't fade. Bektic has proven that he fades. His chin is very suspect. Very dangerous fight for Bektic. I actually thought Bektic was going to be favored more, just based on just sort of his career history, and It's way closer to where I line the fight, which is very close to even. I give Idge the advantage candidly because I see him as a guy who can go through 3 rounds. He's consistent, and he wins fights. He's got 4 wins in a row. He's not coming off a knockout loss like Bektic is, and I think he catches Bektic in this fight and gets the KO win. I think since Lance is not a regular, I think the rest of us like Danage. Is this
Overruled,
Is this going to be a consensus for the show? And then if we get it wrong, then Lance can say I told you so next week. But
Definitely. It's worth
All
it.
right, Danage plus 115. 3 fights to go. Juan Adams taking on Justin Toffee.
Pass. Let's just go to the main event. Let's just go straight to the main event.
I don't care about this fight. Wes, quick thoughts on this one?
Yeah, I think Taffa just ran into just a crazy knockout power guy. Got caught last time. I'm still not really sold on Juan Adams. I just think the line's probably a little off here. If you want to bet on it, I'd take the dog, but just gonna pick the dog and Tout Master and probably not bet it.
Nushan?
I'll pick Juan Adams. He does throw quite a bit of volume for a heavyweight, so as long as he doesn't get knocked out early, I think he can just throw a lot of volume at Taffa and win that way. I'm not sure how good Juan Taffa is at this point, so yeah, I'll pick Adams, but I would not lay that kind of juice.
I guess we'll skip Lance based on his.
No, I want to make one comment.
Oh wow!
Juan Adams
Oh shit!
Juan Adams, it might be the biggest bitch in UFC history. He talked so much shit before that Greg Hardy fight. Literally the most shit talked I've ever heard in my life. And he came out, got punched like one time, and then just went into the fetal position, basically just begging for the fight to be stopped the entire 45 seconds that he lasted versus Greg Hardy. Fuck this guy. Like, I might bet on this random dude just because Juan Adams is such a pussy.
Okay, fine. I got Taffa D-, Adams D. Adams just a better technical striker at this point. I don't like his lack of real power. That really scares me as a heavyweight, but I just think Adams is a better athlete and ultimately gets the job done. I would not bet this at this price, though.
What about the under? Did you guys look at the under?
Is it? It
1.5 minus 115.
Minus 125, yeah.
I mean, Taffa's either probably going to knock him out early or get knocked out and quit.
I don't know.
And Juan Adams obviously a quitter.
Juan Adams he hasn't shown that much knockout power in his UFC career anyway.
Yeah, but something. It just seems like usually it's way more juice for 2 unskilled heavyweights that finish other fights.
Except 2 out of the 3 fights that Juan Adams has been in have gone to decision in the UFC.
Really? I remember. Oh, yeah.
Oh, I guess he TKO'd De La Rocha in the 3rd, but he went 3 rounds against Bueller.
I thought he had won almost all those fights by. He's never had a decision.
Before the UFC, he went to 4. He knocked 4 guys out in the 1st round.
Yeah, and then he lost the decision, but all his wins are knockouts. I don't know. Juan Taffa is either he's obviously not very skilled, but he hits really hard.
Yep.
So he could also just get like taken down and submitted or some shit weird.
It's true.
Wolf City. Yeah. Co-main event. Mook Agian returns, the Mook, Queen of Mooks, taking on
noise.
One of my favorites, Valentina.
Is someone playing with bubble wrap?
No one's got bubble wrap.
Rubbing your face on the old mic, or what's the deal?
Yeah, Lance, what are you doing? Valentina Shevchenko, one of my favorites. Wes.
Yeah. What are you doing? It's not me.
Lance cutting out shit.
Lance
like
got
every
shitty internet.
third bar.
What a shit show.
He sucks. Wes, What are the true odds on this fight between Shevchenko and Mukagian?
The true odds, what we would all make them?
What would you base odds?
Can you go high enough to get anybody to put any kind of money on it?
That's right. That's very fair. I think that's all I need to say about this fight.
Yeah, look, Shevchenko's gonna roll here. This is a joke of a division. She's fighting a joke of a fighter. I like Shevchenko inside the distance. I think that's a little bit of plus money, and I'll be looking to see what her points handicap is when it comes out to maybe put it with Bones and something else just to get some better odds. But she's gonna roll here. She wins easily.
New Sean.
Yeah, I took Shevchenko inside the distance at plus 180 for a unit. Chukagian gets hit a lot, and she can be taken down. So I think Shevchenko can probably beat her up on the feet a bit, take her down, and sub her, smash her out.
Lance,
That's all.
Lance, do you have anything to say on this fight?
I don't care.
I know you don't.
Shevchenko's gonna win. She's an A+ fighter. Chukagian I was a C+ in this division. This is a beatdown. I think she's gonna want to get a finish too to prove a point. I think she still wants that fight with Amanda Nunes for 5 rounds, which I still think she won that 5-rounder.
She did.
So, okay. Main event, Jonathan Dwight Jones taking on former Stony Brook defensive back Dominick Reyes.
I thought he played baseball.
He played football. He's the all-time tackle leader at Stony Brook.
At a place that doesn't play real football.
Yes.
It's like, I don't know what division it is.
Might as well be high school.
Maybe
what an honor.
Maybe it's 1AA. All right, Wes, break this one down.
Yeah, I don't think there's a lot to it, man. We got some of those douchebags out there that like to pick every single underdog in these title fights, so they can get the "I told you so." Seems to be a few of those out there on Reyes. I just don't see it, man. I guess if John does dumbass John stuff and stands on the feet, there's always that chance. I don't see it. I think John's the way better striker than Reyes. Reyes does really good when he can get guys against the cage though and work kind of close. He's not going to be able to do that against John Jones. If Bones would fight smart for once and take this guy down, I think it's over fairly quick. Not going to bank on John doing that though. He's not very bright these days. I think he's going to win here. I think he gets a finish, man. I know he hasn't kind of gone out and tried to destroy guys lately, but I think Reyes has gotten to him a little bit. I think the talk is starting to get to him a little bit. People thinking he's on the backside of his career. People picking Reyes to beat him. There's a few out there. I think that's gotten to him a little bit. So I think John goes out and tries to prove a point in this fight, and I think he gets a finish. So yeah, I like John inside the distance, and I mean John's money line and anything you want to get some better odds on, I think is really good. At 4, I think he's almost down to just a 4-1 fave. It's getting close. That's crazy to me. Dominick Reyes is not. He's not that good, man. So John Jones all day for me.
All right, new Sean.
Yeah, I think Jones's demise is quite overblown.
It's crazy, man. It is.
He's undefeated.
I know,
Yeah.
It's crazy.
He is,
People
right?
just want to be the say they're the one that called it. I called it, you know.
I think some of it has to do with him not finishing fights against guys that we kind of thought he should. The Anthony Smith fight was weird. He was dominating that fight, and then he throws that dumb shit, and then he completely lets off the gas, so he doesn't do anything dumb shit again.
Yeah.
Thiago Santos fight, I think people, when they judge fights against dominant champions, like to give close rounds to the challenger, especially when the challenger is supposed to win. He soundly outstruck Thiago Santos. The scorecards in that fight were crazy. And Could he have taken down Santos? Probably. He probably should have emphasized that. But Santos has definitely improved his takedown defense. I think that was a big hole in his game, and he knew it, and he shored it up quite a bit. John really needs to take guys down to do big damage and to usually finish a fight, other than the Cormier knockout. It's for the most part been the case. Dominick Reyes has been taken down, not multiple times in any of his fights, but he's been taken down. He got taken down by Weidman early. He got taken down by Volkan, OSP. Jeremy Kimball took him down. So it's definitely there for the taking. I think Jones plays a bit on the feet and then takes him down because he's getting close to the record for title defenses, and I don't think he wants to fuck around anymore after those last couple fights that were way too close for what they should have been. So I think he comes in and fights a smart game plan. So I took him by decision. I got that for a unit at plus 215, and then I took him by KO or decision at minus 120 for a unit.
Okay, Lance, your thoughts on the main event?
Yeah, I think the thing with John is like he fights through his competition, and when he's fighting guys like Anthony Smith or OSP, guys like that, he knows he can't lose. So he just goes out there and takes it easy. When he fights guys that are top level, weirdly enough, those are the guys he finishes. When you look at Daniel Cormier, when you look at Gustafsson in the rematch, he finishes guys that you don't think he's going to finish, and guys he should run right through, he just plays around with them. I think in this fight, yes, he is obviously supposed to beat Dominick Reyes, but I think people talking about his demise and people talking about how bad he looked in his last fight and Reyes talking all this shit, I think John wants to go out there and make an example of this kid. And John, he's a smart fighter who does dumb stuff. The Santos fight to me was kind of a mystery because he did dumb stuff pretty much the entire fight. But I think with Reyes, John's gonna knows the easiest way for him to win and get the finish is to take him down, beat him up, and submit him. So I think, after spending his last couple fights mostly on the feet, outside a little time with Anthony Smith, I think John's gonna take him down. I think he's gonna beat him up, and I think he gets a finish here. And Reyes just, I don't know, this guy's like, he's bugging me like Leon Edwards bugs me.
Yeah,
like
me too.
Trying to act
Same.
like he's
Yep.
he's earned it before he's earned it, and like I'm gonna be a role model when I'm champ. I'm like, motherfucker, give me a fucking break. No one even knows your name. After you lose this fight, we're not gonna hear your name again for a while. So I think John comes out.
That motherfucker lost to Volkan.
And I'm gonna be a role model for the kids. Like, motherfucker, the kids don't know who you are. You can't be a role model if no one knows who you are. The fucking guy at Sandwich, making
you played at
sandwich,
Stony Brook,
artist.
motherfucker.
Yeah, no one's looking up to Stony Brook High School. Like, I'm
college
sorry,
form.
but no, it's a high school. High schools could beat Stony Brook probably. So I just don't think this is very competitive. I think John is John. People act like John's 40 years old. He is 32 years old. He has not been in a ton of wars. He has not been hit over and over again a million times. John's in his prime, and I think after this, people are going to once again realize that.
I think he's in his prime too, and off all the bullshit for once in his life. I think he's finally clean too. I really do. The way he's acting and sounding, I think he's clean, man, and just that means something. A guy that great being just having a little bit more of an edge of not partying fucking every other day, not doing coke every weekend. That means something.
Yeah.
All right, I got Jonathan Dwight Jones A++, Reyes B+. Jones is going to win this fight. The problem is that Reyes has the body type and the type of fight that we've seen from John too often. Is that he's a long fighter. Jones will be tentative, and it'll end up becoming kind of like a slow-paced fight where like John is like barely doing more than what he needs to win rounds, and he'll get rounds, but it's not going to be truly decisive. And the same questions will continue to come up about John's dominance and this whole thing. But at the same time, he wins the fight. He continues his unbeaten run, which is now, closing on 30 fights. It's just frustrating because I feel that Jones could be a guy that just continues to get finishes, and he prefers or just doesn't want to take. Maybe it doesn't want to take the risk. Maybe it's just not motivated to really push and get early finishes. And further, just gain fans. I don't think he cares. I think he just wants to fight as long as possible and make as much money as possible. And the way to make the most money possible is to fight long and not lose. And that's what John Jones has become, and that's just the way it is.
I think it's how a lot of champions become towards the end of their careers.
You're trying to protect the castle.
I don't think that's John this time, though. I think there's some other factors that's going to make him perform a little different this time.
And I don't think it's money that motivates John. I think it's legacy.
Oh, absolutely.
More than anything that motivates
If it was just
John.
legacy, he could retire tomorrow, Lance. I don't think anyone would doubt him.
Why would he though? What's he gonna do? I think it's for John too. It's what keeps him out of trouble.
He wants records. He wants records.
He already has all the records.
No, he doesn't have the title defense record.
Has anyone been 50-0? Like there's always more to do, and I think for John it's legacy, and I think he wants to rack up wins, and I think he doesn't have motivation to finish because John just cares about winning. That's his thing. He's never been a guy that cares too much about getting finishes and things like that, and he's a dominant champion. But I think when John turns it up is when he faces adversity pre-fight. Everyone talked about how Gustafsson gave him the biggest challenge he's ever had. So he came out and crushed Gustafsson. Daniel Cormier.
You mean Alexander.
Cormier is talking tons and tons of shit before the fight. They have their animosity. So he comes out and finishes Cormier. Those are the guys he finished. And Reyes has turned it into that for Bones.
He's got
along with the MMA media.
Yep. That's what I think. I think those are the other factors in this fight that's going to make it different than his usual performances. Reyes ain't the guy, though. However you think this fight goes, he ain't the guy, man. I can't believe so many people are. That's who they're picking. I remember not long ago Volkan working him. That Volkan is better than Reyes, I think. But
I think how you put it though, when you look at greatness in combat sports, it's people want to pick the big upset. People with Joshua losing last year in boxing, like the people who called that had probably picked him to lose his last 10 fights. And you can see it with John Jones. You saw it with George St. Pierre. You see it with all the dominant greats, not the one-off champions who defend a couple of times, but the guys who are the all-time greats. People pick against him every fight, and they find a reason why he's going to lose. And it's
a lot
never
more
stop.
now.
Yeah,
it's even more now with the whole Twitter age and social media. Yep, you see it a lot more now. And Sean's right with the round scoring too. When great fighters fight these dudes and they're winning rounds, but they don't blow them out, everybody's looking for a reason to score a round for the underdog every single time. That Santos fight, the amount of people that said Santos won that fight is just fucking laughable. Them finding reasons to score fights. Like you said, finding a reason to pick the underdog in the fight.
Yeah, well, when you think of the all-time greatest fighter, if someone's doing okay versus them, you see that as they're doing great because you weren't expecting them to bring anything. So if you're expected nothing and you bring a little bit, well, oh shit, he's looking way better than I thought. Yeah, you could probably give that round to him.
Well, that does it.
We'll end on that.
We all think John's going to retain. And yeah, no one has come along yet to truly challenge him. Although, yeah, I mean, that's really it. I mean, no one's really come in. When's the last time, there's been a John Jones fight where, somebody thought that, this could be a real challenge for John?
A lot of people thought the first DC fight.
That's the only one potentially. I was not one of those people, so I don't remember. Maybe the second Gustafsson fight there are some people based on the first one. That's about it.
No, Ryan Bader was the last time I picked him.
Oh, you picked Ryan Bader in every fight he's ever been in.
You
Hasn't worked too poorly for
Might
me.
have picked him against Rumble.
No, I laid off that one. Are you kidding?
Whoa.
Do you see my Skype photo that I've had the whole time? It's a picture of Rumble.
I know.
Rumble's in top 5, biggest hogs in MMA history.
Oh, is Bader in your mind?
Bader died when he went to Bellator because it's like, do I root for minor league baseball players?
Oh man,
shit.
Not rooting for the Durham.
Wouldn't that be like Jordan? Yeah, wouldn't that be like Jordan down at Durham?
Birmingham?
Yeah, Birmingham.
I worked in that league for 3 years.
Well, you don't. What happens in the minor leagues stays in the minor leagues, Lance. Shouldn't be talking
Some
about
weird
that.
shit. Some weird shit.
I bet.
80-hour weeks.
That's
a lot of bus rides.
That's full head of hair and goatee fucking years of Lance. We don't talk about those.
That was I was in Montgomery. My last summer summer I was single. The summer of Lance.
The summer of Lance.
Summer of Lance.
The summer of Lance. Yep. Things got weird.
You was waking up in some strange places with long-haired fucking Hank.
Yeah. Oh God. Had him tell you about Razor Blade Suitcase one time.
Oh man, the stories with
this
that
random Montgomery chick in the parking lot. Anyway.
Yeah.
Old Damascus.
Yeah, that guy's fucking wild.
All right, well, that was fun, boys.
It was.
Sir. Next week we're in New Mexico.
Ooh.
It's not a terrible card. There should be some action fights.
Let's take a look at it. Very briefly.
There's some trash fights that are on the main card where the prelim has a couple actually good fights.
Oh,
so I don't
shit.
know.
Diego Sanchez and Michael Perry.
That's the greatest fight ever.
It's gonna be fucking
nuts.
bananas.
Oh, Divashvili's back. Oh, boy.
Yeah.
That should be like the main event.
Jimmy Miller
dude.
versus Hot Sauce?
Yeah.
What are they doing? That's the main event. Damn, Maderos and Venata. That should be fucking nuts, too.
What's the main event?
It's Corey Anderson and Blockowitz is the main event. Sanchez versus Pereira is the co-main.
Man, yeah, that's got some fun fights on it.
Brock Weaver's on this card.
What's
Maniac
the
McGee.
main event next week?
Can't hear you. You're breaking up. Try it again.
Lance is dead.
That's amazing. Are we again? Can you hear me now? Is it back?
There we go.
Are you stroking? It sounds like he's having a stroke.
I think the storm must have fucked with the internet or something.
Oh, yeah, maybe.
Yeah. But yeah, there's just weird placements on that card. There's a bunch of good cards, or a bunch of decent fights on the prelim, and there's a bunch of shit ones on the main card. Yeah.
Dotson, Borg, and Dashishvili buried on the undercard. What the fuck?
Yeah.
If I do the show next week, I gotta do Thursday.
Say what?
If I do the show next week, I gotta do Thursday.
Maybe.
Yeah, but are you actually gonna want to do this show? I mean, I guess if something crazy happens on 247, you might do it. All right, well, we won't hold you to it, but if you can do it, we'll do it.
That'll be a streak.
And do the fans want Lance on?
I go to my favorite city for like 24 hours next week, though, so that's fun.
What, Boston?
Denver.
Boston.
Oh.
Boston.
Of course,
I was in Denver
Boston is Lance's favorite city, right? What?
I've been traveling so much. I was Denver last week, Boston this week. I'm going to San Jose in 2 weeks. Like, I'm traveling like 3 times a month lately.
I'm not sure if San Jose is a city at this point, but that's fine.
San Jose's great. Great bar scene.
Yeah, it does actually have a pretty cool.
Yeah. Downtown San Jose rocks. I mean, one of the biggest companies in the U.S. is there, so.
Yes, that's right.
Cisco.
Yep.
We don't care.
$50 billion.
Lance, you're not going to be in L.A. the week of the 24th, are you?
I mean, you never know. Most of my travel comes up in 5 days. I do have a client we're working on in L.A. right now.
Oh, if you get there at the same time.
What weekend is that? Oh, the 24th? No, that's the week I'll be in San Jose.
Jesus Christ.
We'll be in the same state. God help us.
But I might, if this other one comes through, I can work it out where I do both and just fly to LA from San Jose. So you never know.
Okay.
I'm gonna be platinum medallion this year the way I'm fucking traveling.
Jesus Christ.
I'm already platinum on Marriott, but I'm
That's
trying to
great.
fly more Delta because I hate Southwest so much. It makes me want to die.
That's understandable.
I'd rather connect than fly Southwest.
Wow.
That's how much I hate
Jesus.
Southwest.
That would be hate. And with
Aye,
that, let's see if the rain continues. And we'll be back next week. Enjoy the fights.
We were still recording during all of this?
Yeah.
Yep.
That was the show? This is the product we're putting out?
That's what people want to hear. That's why they tune in. They want to know.
This is the product?
We could always cut it out, but we're not going to.
It's true.
It's very true.